Before he was a legend, before he trained Bruce Lee, there was only one man who dared to fight with honor in a world drowning in violence and pride. This is Master Ip Man, a quiet martial artist living in Foshan, a southern Chinese city famous for its fighters. But unlike others chasing fame, students, or titles, Master Ip keeps to himself. Wealthy, calm, and deeply respectful, he trains alone in his courtyard, practicing Wing Chun with precision and discipline. Even the local masters admire him. Some fear him. While others boast and show off, he wins without effort. But peace doesn't last. A desperate martial artist challenges him in private. No audience. No rules. Just skill versus skill. Master Ip accepts. The duel is fast, brutal, and one-sided. The challenger loses badly but walks away with respect. And that respect spreads across Foshan like wildfire. Quietly, Master Ip becomes a legend in his city. But in 1937, everything changes. Japan invades China. War reaches Foshan. The once bustling streets go silent. Hunger creeps into every home. Factories shut down. Families break apart. Even the proud martial arts schools close their doors. Master Ip loses his home and fortune. Forced to survive, he takes on hard labor to feed his wife and son. His soft hands, once used for graceful movements, now carry coal and sweat. But even in struggle, his pride remains intact. Until one day, a chance encounter pulls him back into the world of combat, not for glory, but survival. In the shattered remains of Foshan, a new enemy rises, not just the Japanese soldiers who occupy the city, but hunger, humiliation, and hopelessness. Day after day, men wait in lines outside the coal factory, hoping to be chosen for work. Among them stands Ip Man, a shadow of his former self. Dirty, exhausted, but still calm and dignified. He doesn't complain. He just endures. Beside him, others curse, starve, or give up hope. But he keeps moving. Then comes a chilling invitation. General Miura, the Japanese officer in charge, has an interest in Chinese martial arts. He organizes public matches between his soldiers and the local Chinese masters. The prize? A bag of rice. But the cost of losing is brutal humiliation or worse. Desperate to feed their families, some masters accept. One of them is Ip Man's old acquaintance, Master Lu. He enters the ring against a Japanese fighter. The match ends quickly. Master Lu is thrown down, defeated, and shamed in front of his people. Word spreads. One by one, the proud martial artists of Foshan step into the ring, trading fists for food. Ip Man tries to stay away, he's not a performer. But when a friend is killed in the ring, something shifts. This is no longer about food. It's about dignity. So one day, Ip Man steps forward. He doesn't ask for rice. He doesn't even ask for reward. He simply says, "I want to fight 10. A moment of silence falls. The Japanese officers laugh, but Miura gives him a nod. 10 fighters step forward. What follows is a whirlwind. A symphony of speed and skill. In less than 5 minutes, all 10 lie on the floor, groaning or unconscious. The Chinese prisoners watching from the side don't cheer, they're stunned. For the first time since the occupation began, they see someone stand tall. Not just win, but dominate. Not just survive, but resist. But this act of defiance has consequences. Ip Man becomes a target. The Japanese take notice. Miura doesn't see him as a threat yet, but his pride is bruised. And in a system built on control, any show of strength must be punished. Ip Man walks away with no rice, no thanks, and no protection. But from that moment on, he becomes something far greater, a symbol. Master Ip's legendary victory spreads fast, but so does the danger. Word of his defiance reaches General Miura, the Japanese commander who sees martial arts as a tool for domination, not honor. Miura becomes obsessed. He wants Ip Man to train his soldiers, to teach them Wing Chun. But Ip Man refuses. He will not serve. This silent rebellion puts his family at risk. The Japanese begin watching him. following him. The walls close in. Yet he still refuses to kneel. Meanwhile, back in Foshan, life continues under a heavy shadow. The people are starving. The resistance is weak. But something has changed. A spark. Whispers of IP Man's victory travel from home to home. Hope begins to return. In a moment of rare peace, Ip Man reconnects with his wife and son. He hides the bruises. Hides the danger. He smiles, but behind his eyes is the burden of protecting not just his family, but an entire way of life. Miura grows more impatient. He arranges another match, this time public. He invites high-ranking Japanese officers, the local mayor, and forces Chinese citizens to attend. A brutal message: submit or suffer. One by one, local fighters are dragged into the ring. Humiliated. Broken. The crowd watches in silence. Then, something unexpected. A local rickshaw driver, young, scrappy, angry, steps into the ring. He's not a master. He's barely trained. But he wants to fight. For pride. For his people. He loses, badly. But Ip Man is there. Watching. Silent. That night, he visits the young man and tends to his wounds. No lectures. Just kindness. It's a powerful moment. Because in a world full of cowards and bullies, Ip Man chooses to lift others. Then comes the ultimatum. General Miura sends a formal request. He demands that Ip Man become the head martial arts trainer for the Japanese army in Foshan. It's framed as an honor. But everyone knows what it really is: submission. And still, Ip Man refuses. No money. No favors. No compromise. This man, once rich and quiet, now poor and hunted, becomes the strongest man in the city, not through violence, but through unshakable will. Every act of resistance echoes. Every refusal matters. And the Japanese don't like it. Foshan is changing. The city that once echoed with the sounds of training wooden dummies, punching drills, sparring matches, is now a place of silence and fear. Martial arts schools are gone. Masters are hiding. Students have given up. But something is still alive beneath the surface, a quiet resistance. Ip Man becomes its heart. He doesn't raise an army. He doesn't give speeches. He simply begins training a few workers behind the scenes: factory laborers, farmers, even street kids. No uniforms. No fanfare. Just discipline, technique, and quiet power. His message is clear: learn to defend yourselves. One day, Sato and his men show up at the cotton mill where many locals now work and train in Wing Chun under IP Man's guidance. They demand bribes. They beat workers. They warn Ip Man to back down. He doesn't. In one breathtaking scene, Sato's gang confronts Ip Man at the factory. Workers scatter. Fear fills the air. But Ip Man stands firm. Alone. What follows is a brutal fight. No ring. No rules. Just raw fists and courage. And once again, Ip Man doesn't fight for himself. He fights for the powerless. For honor. For every soul too afraid to lift their head. He dismantles the gang with lightning-fast strikes, each movement echoing through the factory like thunder. Sato crawls away, broken, his power shattered. And that's when something even more powerful happens. The workers don't just cheer. They gather. They bow. In that moment, Ip Man is no longer just a teacher or a fighter. He becomes a guardian. A protector. A leader. He doesn't seek revenge. He doesn't demand worship. He simply returns to his family, his students, and his practice. Because true strength, as he's shown time and time again, lies in restraint. In character. In leading by example. The Japanese may still hold Foshan on paper. But in the hearts of the people, it belongs to Ip Man. The victory at the factory sends ripples across Foshan. Hope, once buried under fear, begins to rise again. Word spreads, Ip Man defeated the gang without fear, without hatred, only with justice. For the people, this isn't just news. It's fuel. Fuel for dignity. Fuel for quiet rebellion. But word travels fast and far. General Miura hears about it. And he doesn't just see Ip Man as a skilled fighter anymore. He sees him as a threat to order, to fear, to Japanese control. To the empire itself. So Miura makes a final move, a challenge, masked as an opportunity. He invites Ip Man to fight in a public match. Not in secret. Not for rice. But in front of a full audience. Chinese spectators. Japanese officials. Cameras. He wants to prove once and for all, Japanese martial arts are superior. That China's pride, its strength, its resistance, can be crushed in front of everyone. Ip Man hesitates. He knows this is a trap. He knows it's not about fighting. It's about sending a message. But after all he's witnessed. Friends lost. Lives ruined. Students rising in courage. People daring to hope. He cannot walk away. So he accepts. The ring is built. The stage is set. And on that day, under a sky heavy with tension, Ip Man walks into the arena. Calm. Quiet. Determined. General Miura enters wearing a crisp white karate gi, the symbol of his discipline and pride. He bows stiffly. This is not a street fight. It's a performance of power. But Ip Man is not performing. He is fighting for every voice silenced. Every back bent in labor. Every heart still daring to dream. The match begins. And immediately, you see the difference. Miura is powerful. His strikes are sharp, trained. His kicks thunder through the air. But Ip Man? He flows. He reads Miura like a book. His arms deflect. His feet slide. Wing Chun meets karate, soft versus hard. And slowly, the crowd begins to shift. Even the Japanese soldiers start to watch in awe. Blow after blow, Ip Man wears Miura down, not with brute strength, but with relentless control. Precision. Speed. Spirit. Then, with one final flurry, Ip Man knocks Miura to the ground. Silence. Then, the crowd erupts. But not in celebration. In awakening. The illusion is shattered. Chinese martial arts are not weak. China is not broken. The Japanese commander, furious at Miura's humiliation, pulls a gun and shoots Ip Man in front of everyone. By Sato. A coward's bullet, meant to silence what fists could not. Ip Man collapses. The crowd screams. Soldiers rush in. Blood spills on the ground. But Ip Man doesn't die. His friend and factory owner, Mr. Lee, drags him away under fire. Against all odds, he survives the bullet. His body is wounded, but his spirit? Unshaken. Because now, he is no longer just a man. He's a symbol. Of resilience. Of quiet strength. Of the fight that never dies. He's forced to flee Foshan with his family, leaving behind the city, the people, and the life he once knew. The war isn't over. The suffering isn't over. But something has changed forever. And more importantly, so does the message. Word spreads like wildfire. Ip Man stood against the Japanese military. And won. Even though wounded, his victory becomes a spark. It ignites something deep within the people of Foshan, within all of China. Resistance groups grow bolder. Martial arts schools begin to reopen. And the legend of Ip Man becomes unstoppable. He didn't win with rage. He didn't need an army. He won with discipline, honor, and the quiet power of a man who refused to bow. Months pass. Foshan remains under Japanese occupation, but something has changed. The air feels heavier, charged with quiet defiance. In hidden corners of the city, whispers of rebellion grow louder. Resistance is no longer a dream. It's alive, breathing through every person inspired by Ip Man's stand. But Ip Man can't go back to who he was. His injury slows him down. His body aches with every step. Still, he trains. Quietly. Painfully. Because he knows something the enemy doesn't. The fight is never just physical. It's spiritual. Meanwhile, General Miura's defeat shakes the Japanese military's confidence. His superiors are embarrassed. Humiliated. They begin cracking down on civilians even harder, trying to erase the symbol Ip Man has become. But it's too late. The seed has been planted. Because even in exile, the legend of Ip Man spreads. To the people of Foshan, he is no longer just a martial artist. He is proof that dignity can survive brutality. That honor can outlast fear. That one man's courage can ignite thousands more. And though his body heals in silence, his legacy roars louder than ever. Years later, he opens a small martial arts school in Hong Kong. No riches. No fame. Just a humble room, a few students, and a style forged in resistance, Wing Chun. One of his first students? A boy named Bruce Lee. The rest is history. But Ip Man's true gift was never just his fists. It was the way he stood when others bowed. The way he spoke through action, not words. The way he inspired a nation without ever asking to be called a hero. If his story moved you, made you feel something deep down, then don't let it end here. Like this video if you felt inspired. Comment below, what would you fight for if you had nothing left but honor? Subscribe for more powerful recaps like this one, where true strength is more than just muscle. And most of all, share this with someone who needs to be reminded that even in darkness, light survives. Because the world doesn't just need heroes. It needs people who believe in something. Thank you for watching.